I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to think from your desired reality. Because most people don't give themselves permission to think from the reality where they already have what they want. They believe that they don't have permission to do so, that they have to struggle in order to get what they want. And there's all these beliefs that are grounded upon the foundation that they are not the creators of their reality. I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to remove all these limiting beliefs around you being a creator of your reality, how to step into your power as a creator once again, or just enhance what you're already creating, and to really understand at the deepest possible level that thinking from your desired reality is absolutely a huge tool that you can use to get you closer to what you want to create. In my experience, when I don't think from the desired reality, everything in my life doesn't pan out how I prefer. Let's just say it like that. When I think from the desired reality and give myself permission to do so, this is when everything shifts. Let's talk about that in this video. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. Now, the first thing that I want to share with you in this video in terms of how to think from your desired reality is actually a question. And that question is, who would you be if you were already who you wanted to be? How would you think? What kind of actions would you be taking? How would you feel? Get a little bit logical with this, in my opinion, because most people have a hard time thinking greater than the current reality that they're in. We can get stuck in all sorts of thought patterns, all sorts of emotional patterns that convince us that we're not allowed to go in a direction that is greater than where we actually are. And it's ironic because when we think from where we are expecting a different result, that is the definition of insanity. Now, I'm not saying that you can't do similar things every single day. As you can tell, I post a new video every single day. But the thing is, though, is that it's not really necessarily about what we're doing, although sometimes it can be the case to focus on that as a factor when it comes to manifesting your reality. But oftentimes, it's not even the relevant point to be focusing on in terms of why somebody's not manifesting. Oftentimes, it's about changing the perspective that we have about what we're experiencing, and that simple shift in perspective can completely change everything if we allow ourselves to hold that perspective. And that perspective, of course, is going to be greater, so to speak, or a higher perspective, or a broader perspective, or a perspective that is greater than where we currently are. And that is why I'm asking you the question, who would you be if you were already who you wanted to be? Because sometimes we have to take a step out of what we're in and to see who we can be, to then to start to focus in that direction. Because sometimes there's so much momentum in the old reality that we can start to forget that we even have an opportunity, that what's on offer for us is to think about a reality that actually is greater than where we are, that is greater than where we are. And the thing is that most people don't realize that you can think thoughts, you can receive thoughts from your higher self, or whatever you want to call it, that greater version of you that exists on some plane of consciousness already. You can receive those thoughts. You can think from that. How do you think that people do impossible things? They think greater than where they are. Quite literally. I'm being literal here. You have to literally think greater than where you are. In my experience, you can just feel in your being, in my experience, when that thought, it just clicks. It feels, so to speak, greater than that feeling of momentum that you're already creating. And once this is realized, everything in your reality will begin to shift in a powerful way. Because you can see that these old patterns of who you used to be, who you used to be attached to, you see that it is not who you are. Because once you gain just a little bit of momentum in that direction of who you want to be, who you used to be, becomes the past. In fact, it even starts to become almost like not real. It's like it was only real because you chose to go there. And you can make it happen again. Those old beliefs, those comfortable patterns, you can go there if you want. But the question is that in alignment with who you prefer to be? Most people don't give themselves permission to think from that greater version of themselves. And the thing is though, and I'll tell you why, because most people are afraid to see reality from the assumption that they already are who they prefer to be. Could you imagine a reality where you're seeing all these things happening in front of you, all these challenges, all these failures, but yet all you're seeing is what you're affirming yourself to be? Could you imagine that? Well, if you can imagine that, it exists. Now the thing is though, is that you can actually do this. This is gonna sound kind of crazy, but in my reality, I literally do not see failure anymore. If there's a failure that I experience, I immediately interpret that through whatever it is that I programmed myself to believe. So I only see things through the beliefs that I've chosen for myself. And this is what I'm trying to say, is that like I really wholeheartedly believe that many people on the planet are afraid to see reality from that perspective. Like, hey, you have beliefs and you can actually see reality from those beliefs through the filter of your beliefs. You're allowed to do that. In fact, in my experience, you wouldn't believe how loving and compassionate you become when you choose to become a creator of your reality. I'm really surprised, honestly, that most people don't talk about this. And I can understand why. Because at some point, I believe that once you become really conscious that you truly are a really powerful creator, it depends on like what your goals are and what you truly want to create. But at some point, it almost becomes a situation where you have less need to even tell people that you're seeing things from that perspective. You have less need to defend your perspectives. You have less need to convince others why they should even manifest their reality. You have less need to convince people why you're manifesting your reality and why it's working out for you. You get to a point where you're just being yourself so much. You're being in your reality so much. You have even less desire to convince anybody of anything. For me, I can't stand really convincing people of anything. Like, just go be whatever you want to be, and I'll be whatever I want to be, and we can just do that. Can we just do that? Let's just do that. I think that would be so epic. Now, when you conceit, it already is epic. That's my reality. But again, you do whatever you prefer to do or be in the world. Now, what happens is that when you can start to see things from your desired reality, what begins to happen is that actually you stop seeing failure. You stop seeing challenges. You stop seeing problems. Do you see a problem? I don't see one. All I see is every single moment I'm aligning with what I'm thinking about, what I'm seeing. I don't see a problem. I see me moving towards my vision every single moment. If I'm experiencing limitations or limiting beliefs or challenges, I am interpreting that from that higher version of me. I'm seeing that through that higher version of me. I'm cheerleading myself, not even by motivating myself, but just by assuming that I'm already that person. I'm just assuming that that's already me. I cheerlead myself, and this is why I can be inspiring for others, because I can cheerlead myself. Once you learn how to inspire yourself and motivate yourself, maybe you don't feel motivated. Maybe you wake up and you don't feel motivated, but can you motivate yourself and inspire yourself to go towards that exciting and compelling vision, even though you don't feel motivated? That's you trusting in your higher self. The way that you trust in your higher self is despite what you're feeling, despite what that pattern and momentum is telling you, you think greater than that feeling and you tell yourself, I'm gonna feel better, I'm gonna feel more harmoniously aligned to who I truly am once I go towards this vision, once I align with this vision. Not necessarily get the vision, but at least align with it. And it's not even at least, because that's the fulfillment. That's the peace, is when you realize that you already have what you want now. You already have it. When you're seeing all these problems, it doesn't matter, because you already have what you want. You wouldn't believe how these affirmations that I'm inviting you to test in your reality have worked for me in my reality. You wouldn't believe how powerfully they've worked for me. The affirmations have been the gateway to remind me that what I want actually already exists now. It actually already exists now, and all I have to do is change the way that I'm seeing the situation in order to tap into that, and you have that same power. Anything that you see in me, anything that you see in another, anything that motivates you, anything that inspires you, anything that even makes you jealous. Some people get jealous, no reason to get jealous. All that's happening is that is something outside of you reflecting to you that something is there that you can embody in your own being. That's something that you can step into, that's something that you can embody. And you just have to give yourself permission to do so. That's really what it is sometimes, is just giving yourself permission to ignore the guilt, to ignore the shame, to ignore all this stuff, this baggage that's probably not even yours. Excuse me. Like, you have all this baggage, it's probably not even yours, and you're believing in it so wholeheartedly when it's not even your belief systems. Which leads me to the third point in this video in terms of how to think from your desired reality. It's number 3, ignore all contradicting programs and beliefs and energies or whatever that comes up in your field that is contradicting who you say you are. When you tell yourself you are something, what will come up immediately is the opposite of that energy that you're stepping towards that feels greater than where you are. Sometimes, not always, if this resonates for you, then you can take this on, but sometimes, not always, but oftentimes the case is for me that it really can be that simple to look at all those energies, look at all those vibrations, all those contradicting frequencies is what I like to see them as. You could even see it as a trauma, but it's not really trauma in my personal opinion. It depends on, of course, the person's context and situation. Obviously, people go through traumatic situations, but I've healed my traumas simply by ignoring them and focusing on my vision. And I know that this is a very controversial topic that can make people very triggered and they can disagree with me, but honestly, I don't really care. Because for me, focusing on my vision has healed multiple centuries of trauma. I continue to heal multiple centuries, multiple lifetimes perhaps, of energy, of action, of momentum that was grounded in fear, just by thinking greater than where I am. So if that works for me so powerfully, understand that you can do that as well. And you'd be so surprised how you can deconstruct and deprogram all that stuff by actually just focusing on where you want to go. You know, I used to believe that you have to deprogram everything first in order to program, but actually I found that you can actually deprogram as you're programming what you want, and then all that stuff just fades away as if it never even existed. As if it never even existed. Like, it only exists when you're feeding energy. When you stop giving energy, it stops existing for you. Problems stop existing when you stop creating them. That's my opinion. If you stop creating a problem, then there is no problem. If you stop creating the issue, then there is no issue. So the final invitation that I have for you here in this video is to ignore all the challenges, all the failures, all the negativity, all the contradicting beliefs, all of that stuff. You know what you do with that? You ignore that completely. And you slap on top of that the desired reality you want to see instead. You slap on top of it your preferred way of seeing. You slap on top of it whatever you want to see, because actually all that negativity, you can see that it's not the truth of who you are. It's just a program. So when you see a program coming up, what do? You see that for what it is. You see it as just what it is, which is, of course, nothing but a program. A program is not who you are. A program was never who you are unless you choose to subscribe to it. And you can choose to think from your desired reality no matter what any program is telling you who you are. Regardless of any pattern that is trying to sway you, you can choose to disengage from that and instead engage in who you prefer to be. Once again, remembering that in fact you are a divine creator. And with that, I conclude this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. It's also going to be in the comments of this video as well. Also, leave a like on this video only if you want to, because I do actually believe that every single person on this planet does deserve to know that actually they are divine creators of their reality, and that actually they can manifest their reality and do so in the most effortless and easeful way possible, helping themselves and helping others in the process as well. And hitting that like button does help the YouTube algorithm push the videos out to more people, and that would be greatly appreciated. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next